I started this adventure in South Georgia on Lake Seminole, just hanging out with family and just having a good time catching some fish before heading down to Tallahassee, Florida, to Lake Jackson, which is about a mile north of Interstate 10. I researched Tallahassee before coming over here and found that there are so many outdoor opportunities for hiking and doing things. And right around Lake Jackson, there was three. I decided to hit all three of them in a day. But it's definitely worth the time invested if you're going to be near this area to come enjoy it. Good morning, hikers and everyone else. Birdman here. I'm at the Elinor Klapp-Phipps Park in Tallahassee, Florida, at the trailhead. I've read about this park and some of the things I'll see today, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of the large old trees, magnolia and other things. But there's equestrian trails out here, bike trails, and hiking trails. I'm hoping to get around 6 miles on this particular trail this morning. And so we begin. They've got maps out here, which is nice, and I'm really looking forward to a wonderful hike this morning. It's about 6:45, 6:50, something like that. And so it begins. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'll talk to you later. Alright, so far I've not been disappointed with some old forest growth, some big trees. I won't bore you with pictures of all of them because honestly, you'd have to be here anyway to enjoy their beauty fully. But one thing's for sure, this trail so far, as I had read, got a lot of roots. So you've got to pay attention to what you're doing so you don't sprain an ankle or trip and fall on your face. But as you can see, it's pretty. Some big old trees down here, I tell you what. Pretty open, and the trail is nice and wide. There's a separate equestrian trail, biking trail, and hiking trail, although I see some biking imprints on this trail, so I'm sure those free spirits just go wherever they want. But so even though it's supposed to be hiking only, you might find a bike here. I'm thinking I might later, but it's pretty so far. Oh, and also, when you come to your first crossing where the hiking path crosses the biking path, you'll probably have to stop and scratch your head for a minute and then realize what you've come upon. But because they crisscross each other quite regularly. Let's see what this says. Okay, so we're going to stay on and head toward the Swamp Forest hiking trail at this point. Hike on. All right, I've seen my first couple hills now. That last picture you saw of things that would remind you of hiking in Tennessee in the Smokies instead of Tallahassee, Florida. getting into some pretty interesting little ups and downs, little bottoms. And I'm less than 2 miles in. They got nice places to sit out here too. But anyway, I'm less than 2 miles in, and it has been consistently old growth woods, well traveled paths, so people are out here. This is, of course, another piece of the Florida Trail, or actually I should say it's maintained by the Florida Trail Association. It's not a piece of the Florida National Scenic Trail. But it is very pretty. And as you can see, even a sort of switchbacks. All right, what we got here? Hike on. hope this video does this justice, but I just came around this curve in the trail and look at this pine tree. It is amazing and gnarly and twisted, and it's just gigantic. Look at the size of this thing. Man. Whoa. Wow. Look at this pine tree. Wonder what's the story why it grew like this. Wow. Look at that. It is enormous. I mean, look at that thing. Wow. Awesome. There's a lot of open ground out here to ride horses and to view wildlife, as you just saw in those pictures. There's a man and his son, a couple dogs running over there. But look at these trees. Look at that. Beautiful. This first hike of the day ended up being a 7-mile hike. Took me 2 hours and 34 minutes, and I had an elevation gain of 244 feet. Turns out I could have made the hike even a little bit longer if I would have had a couple little connector trail sections at the Swamp Forest Loop and the Coon Bottom Loop. But I just was more interested in going around the outside as far as I could go of the entire property as far as the loop for the hiking trails. My negative thing about the day was when I was on Oak Hammock Loop, I was hoping to get a good view of Lake Jackson. That's one of the reasons I selected this hike, because it was so close to the lake. But it was all grown up close to the lake, and I just couldn't get a good view of it. I could hear a boat out there, and just a lot of real thick woods and vegetation, so I couldn't get a good view of the lake. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But with all the trees and all the other things I was able to encounter, it was definitely well worth it. But you could certainly add a little bit more than the 7 miles if you wanted to make sure you hit those connectors that I missed. But overall, it was a great hike. Four miles.